read something from you here from my book, the one, Nigger Please. Okay? Mm-hmm. It says, in her natural, uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on her male, and she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring, and would have a limited protection tendency toward her independent male offspring, and would raise the female offspring to be dependent like her. Nature has provided for this type of balance. That's what nature has provided for. But in reverse order, by burning and pulling her male and beating him in front of her to the point of death, and in her present, with her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed. Let me underscore that. Male image destroyed. Are we seeing some of that today? Destroyed.
Yes.
The ordeal caused her to move from psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. Now, and in this frozen psychological state of independence, she would raise her male and female offspring in reverse roles. The fear of the young man's life, she would psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. Because, why is she going to do that? Because there was always fear as to what would happen to the male. And this is perfect situation for sound sleep and good economy. Sound sleep and good economy. Set it up where the woman will always be fearful of what could happen to the male. So she teach him to be strong. You got to work, be strong, but be weak. To some of these situations that we're in now, that women feel like, and even, let's go back further. Even when the woman had issues with her man, she would go to the white man and tell him on her man. He would come out to the house and, boy, don't you do that no more. He knew that she had somebody to go to, but who did he have to go to if something went wrong with him? So right away, that was weakening his ego and his ability as a man. He didn't even have the ability to run his own household during that time. He didn't even have the ability to stop the master from having sex with his wife or his daughter and impregnating them. And he knew that when the baby was born, that wasn't his child, but he couldn't say anything. That's why I still say our case need to be presented to the United Nations. It really jacked black families up. And anytime you destroy a family, people, that's the core of survival. That's the core of sanity, is that family dynamic, that family relation. When you got a woman who's going to the master to tell what the husband did, or for him to come and put him in check, that's castrating the black man. Right. But then it put the black woman in the frozen psychological state of independence. And that is something that have really hurt the black woman. A frozen psychological state of independence. And even when a man is present, in her mind, subconsciously, he is not there. Exactly. Let's take a call. We have a 615. Go ahead, 615.
Hey, Dr. Rosie, how are you?
Great, David. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
I was just sitting here listening to your show. I got a break here before I do my next show, and I really enjoy this topic when you bring that out. Of course, I'm pretty sure a lot of African-American women get upset when you talk about this. And I think that's part of the denial process in this, because it's very true. It is very obvious, and I think that's why you're finding a lot of men who just don't want to deal with those type of women anymore. And then, of course, the women tend to believe or want to say that, oh, well, men are gay, or the black men are gay. Well, no, it's not that. It's just some of that craziness that goes on when you want to be in control. And as you know, I fight for fathers, And there was a survey that was done, and the interesting thing about it, they asked the women a question. They said, look, these single women who didn't have fathers in their lives, in the lives of their children, 50% of them said that they would rather not have a father in the lives of their children, even though it would benefit that child. That is a classic example of what you're talking about right now.
And you know, even when the father's there, black women tend to ignore the fact. Go back to that. My point is that there are good reasons for black women to act that way, but we need to debunk that. You know, that's all I'm saying. We need to change that. I'm not blaming you. I want you to look at why it happened that way. This stuff came down through slavery, through our adaptation here. You know, so even now I see women that get married, David, and the husband tries to have dialogue with their children, and they don't want him to tell them anything. They castrate him from even talking about how to rear the children. And I hear them even when they speak, talking to their husband. Well, you're not going to do this to my child. I had to say to someone in my family one day who mentioned that, and I said, wait a minute, is he the father of these children? She said, yes. Why do you keep making reference, talking to him about your child, your son? That's just how far they have gone, David. Well, one thing about it, black men are not going to stand around and allow black women to boss them around, tell them what to do, when to do it. I don't care if they don't have a job. And the one that would do it, I want to send a strong message to you. They're doing it as long as they're in that position, but they're looking forward to breaking loose and getting up out of there, okay? So just be assured, no one, very few men, is going to give up and decide for the rest of my life I'm going to deal with it. They are taking it right now, and they are allowing you to boss them in the thing that doesn't matter that much to them. Now, I want you all to back me up on this. You think you're running things, but the thing that's really important to him, you can't tell him anything. You bragging to your girlfriend how you're bossing him. He drops you off. You make him drop you off at work in your car. And you make him pick you up at 3:30 so you can control where he is. And if you call, if he's not working, he needs to be at home. Yeah, you rolling, you balling. But when it comes down to something that's important, because this unimportant stuff. But when it comes to something that's very significant for the male, trust me, you're not going to control him. And don't think he like you when you're doing that. You think he's in love with you. He might be in love with you, but it's a love-hate relationship. That's all I want to tell you. It's a love-hate relationship. Yeah, there's a lot of love-hate relationship. We got a call 504. Stay on, David.
Hey, Rosie, downstairs.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I had to call you. Okay.
Okay. Did you get a
I'm good. I was just able to call a minute ago.
Okay. What we're talking about, Don, we're taking a look at black women function in reverse order to nature. And we say for good reason. So we really need to debunk, go back and look at it, because most people don't want to look at how we got it in its shape. And it did come through slavery, where the black woman, she would go to the white man on her husband. Her husband would come, the white man would come and tell the husband, well, don't you do that no more. Boy, why did you do that? So these are some of the things that happened. So she developed, hey, Don, put your phone on mute. Do *6. Hit *6. Or turn your computer down. He's doing *6. Okay. Yeah. So the black woman, Don, we are saying, is in a frozen psychological state of independence. And when the man is present, she still ignores him. She want to do just what she wants to do. She want to boss him around. She tell her girlfriend how she's in charge. So what she have now is a love-hate relationship. Because this man loving you for one thing, but he hating you for the other. Because you guys tell me, do you resent when women control you? I don't care if you don't have any money. You don't want a woman bossing you around. You don't want her dictating what the children can do as if you have no sense at all. I see women do it every day. The man has no say-so in the rearing of the children. Okay, go ahead.
I think it's generational. I think that older women may expect men to lead, but I don't think young women expect men to lead. young women don't even want men to lead, okay? Because they have not seen men in leadership roles, and they don't expect to be subservient to man now. So the age of the person, the age of the woman, and the age of the man has a lot to do with it. These days, just because he's wearing the pants means nothing, okay? So, that's a consideration, in my opinion.
It's an excellent point. Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's an excellent point, because today's generation, and you mentioned the feminist movement. Well, the feminist movement didn't really take off until black women got involved in it, okay? Because black women were typically independent prior to the feminist movement. So, but, and I go back to the studies that I've looked at and I've read over and over again, about, if black men came home today, those who are absent, and wanted to be the leader of your family, would you allow him? 78% of women say they would not. Those women who are single, who don't have black men in their lives. That says a lot, you see. So when you hear women say, I want a man to lead, I think that's a misnomer. I think they want more control than anything else. Look at relationships. Look at, if you just walk down the street and look at a black male-female couple, who's dominating? It's the black female. She wants it that way. And if you run up against that, then she wants to kick you to the curb. Or she don't want to have time for you, or you're not a good man, even though that you're supplying, taking care of all the bills and all the necessary things that most good men do. And I find that because I meet so many single men in what I do every day, and they are content not to be in relationships at all. Or what you're finding more and more and more, a lot of my friends who are in the military or who have been outside the country, they are seeking women of other ethnic persuasion because their argument is that they know how to treat their men.
Now, David, you just hit on something very important. Don and I used to go around the country doing relationships, so we kind of know how each other think. But when they start talking about black men wanting to get in a relationship with other women, well, see, we like to talk about that, but we never want to go and look at the why. That's why I'm having this show here today. Because all men want to feel significant. Now, I've interviewed men said they want to feel respected. They want to feel that they are listened to, and they want to feel respected, and needed. Well, black women want to show her man how much I don't need you. I don't need you to help pick up this. Other women will drop a straw and ask the man to pick it up, where the black woman would pick up a 5-gallon jug of water and would say, well, I don't need him to do this. I was doing this before I met him. We got to get to this young generation. Men want to feel needed, not just for their money, okay? Right. Not just for their money. They need to feel that they are significant. They didn't get in a relationship to produce a baby. Some women, once they have a baby by a man, they through with it. A national conference to decide how black folks, how we need to respond and react to each other, because this is not working.
Tell you what, we also need to figure out who or what is a man and who or what is a woman. Because everything is so cloudy these days. I don't know exactly what I can say, but a friend of mine who was a player had gone to the Bronner Brothers hair show in Atlanta, and he was checking out this little honey, and he was getting all hot and bothered, and the woman was looking back, and this woman walked up to him, a real bush woman, and just straight up chanting. This brother was in good shape. She challenged him. He was my friend. She said, hey, what you doing looking at my bitch? Okay. Yeah. The point is that there was an excellent point you just made about the alpha male, because a lot of females these days are more alpha than the men. That's another thing that has to be factored into it. And a lot of men are softer than the women. Exactly. And another friend of mine told me, and this was a real strong woman, she was really out here a street person, and she would whip somebody's behind in a minute. And she said she had to do that because her husband was a chicken. She said anytime there was a confrontation, she was the one who had to go whip somebody's behind. Okay? There's just a lot of things we have to look at.
That's why I want to say women, black women, what we're talking about is factual. Good reason for it, but we got to change. We got to do something about it. It's the black woman who's going up to the school when the child is getting in trouble. It's the black woman going to the automotive shop, having to talk like a sailor to try to get them to fix her car to do right. Do you think black women want some of this position they are put into? No. Do you think the black men are happy in the position they are put in? No. So who can fix it? We are the one going to have to come together and change it.
Yep.
It's out of control.
There's another factor, too, religion, because people are moving away from the church. The church instills all this stuff about the role of the man and the role of the woman to be submissive. And as people are moving away from that type of orientation, things are changing.
When you go to school, you growing up a young man, look at me, David, and what do you see? You leave a home, the woman is in charge, she's running things, she's in charge when man is there, she's in charge when he's not there. She goes to church, who's her Sunday school teacher, is a woman in charge, okay? Usually she's even the superintendent. You go to school, who's running your life and dictating, telling you what to do? It's a female teacher. So the man, particularly in the African-American community, so what do you have all your life? You got a woman somewhere telling you what to do.
White women earned.
Right, and even black women don't even have healthy relationship with their sons. I mean, they make their sons into their husband. Now, I know women don't call up here talking crazy to me because I see it every day. They try to make those sons of theirs, they treat them like they're their husband.
It's funny you bring that up, Dr. Rosen.
Yes.
Well, let me just quickly.
681.
Okay. I posted a meme on my Facebook page about that very subject. About you go to a black woman's house and she has a son. That's my little man. He's that. You know, all of those things that are giving him the rights of a man. Yet a 5 or 6 year old cannot even think about being a man. You put a false sense of security, and you really put a pressure on a young man who doesn't even know what being real manhood is all about. You see that all the time in the black community. So I posted that meme on my Facebook page, on my wall, and there were a whole lot of people on there who was upset because I posted that. And I asked, why are you upset?
Always get upset with truth, David. When you started dealing with relationships, you know how they used to do me. Don knows we used to travel together. You always for the men. I'm not for the men. I'm for right. And until we stand up for what is right and what's going to save our race, we'll be studied in the ditch, you all. You make no mistake about it. And the little boy, my honey, my baby, he ain't no baby. Stop calling him that. Let's take 681. 681, go ahead. Your name and where you're calling from and what's your take? 681? Okay, maybe they just want to listen. And I'm sure you all hear this. I know, let's be honest. Aren't you guys about sick of what you're seeing going on with black women? Just be honest. Are you sick of it? You all scared
I'm sick
to
of what's
say
going
it.
on with the black children.
Make me listen. Yeah. That's good. I hope the women are listening. Because black men image been destroyed enough, and so you don't need somebody who you're trying to partner up with who always putting you down. You're not the one doing the hiring when they start looking at jobs. You're not at the gate. You're not the spook at the door. Okay, so they don't look at the end of this. So they're blaming because you know what? They're like our forefathers. I remember mother saying, girl, go to school, get yourself a good education, find a man to sit you down. Where did that come from? Because she grew up around white women sitting down. She didn't realize these white women were sitting down because she had your mama up. She had Lisa up. She had everybody up. You were taking care of her children, and everything. But she didn't internalize that. All she wanted you to grow up, daughter, and man to set you down, to be like the white woman. I can't be here. I'm the nanny here, but I want better for you, honey. I want you to grow up and find a man to sit you down. And that's what they ushered into black women's head. You go to school, go far as you can go, get you a PhD and sit down. That wasn't even realistic. But I understand why they told us that. Because they were miserable doing what they were doing. And they didn't want us to be taking care of babies and taking care of washing and taking care of their homes. But we never was able to make that connection. So our black women ask too much. Do they want too much from a man who cannot give it?
In the past, though, we live in a more physical world. Now it's more technological. So for many people, I guess, and many women, they don't believe that black men represent the future. You know, because there's so many who, huh?
Where you going with that one?
When it comes to education and technology, because a lot of black males in the past, black men could provide. They were doing physical labor, like, you know, longshoremen, you know, bus drivers, whatever. But these days, like the longshoreman job is being done, you know, automation. Okay. You know, there's so many factory jobs down that are automated. Even men who are able to get a job working at a plant, you know, made a good living. But again, that's automated now. And it's the nerd. Many times the guy who's a football player who was doing great back when because he was big, you look at the guy who really has the money now, it's the nerd.
Right.
The guy who became the doctor, the guy who became the accountant. But how many become professional people? So the men who are available in that particular scheme of things is mighty small. Even when it comes to listening to this show, there's so many men who would just rather do nothing than learn something. Not interested in expansion, you know?
Wow.
But that was a man's role. Remember, historically, the big buck with the big penis and all that kind of stuff, that was his role, okay? That role is...
Don, are you saying that black women need to take a look at that standard when it comes to the economic strength and position of the black man? If you're not saying that, I would say so. You know, you can't look at, well, who make the most and I want to find somebody. You're absolutely right. A lot of those jobs that black men had, they don't have them anymore. But does that mean that he can't be a good man, a good husband? If you take what
and a good partner, Rosie.
Partner, yeah. Then it'll work. David, you had to come in, then we'll go to 4114.
Yeah, you know, I was listening to technology, what Don was saying. To some extent, he is correct. But coming from a black male who has been in technology for the last 20 years, there are an awful lot of black males that are in technology. And we call ourselves sophisticated black nerds. I also play football in high school and college as well. But what you found is that black women don't want those kind of men.
No.
Black women want that guy who's walking around with his pants sagging, who's hard, who she knows gonna dog her out. That's the kind of men you're finding black women are wanting. They don't want black nerds. They don't want black professionals. They say they do, but just when he comes and brings his professionalism, they can't handle that.
You know,
well, again, that's also a generational thing now.
Hold tight. I wish some women would call because women debunk that all the time when men say, well, they don't want the good men. Well, women say that's not true.
It's generational, though. It's generational.
Yeah. Okay.
Look. Wait. Let me say this right quick. As long as the man is slinging, you know what, his pants can be down. Okay. When the woman is in that same sphere, it's okay. But when she gets a little bit more mature, no, she's not looking for that. She's not looking for that. Okay. Even if that's why, as you used to say, Rose, that's why so many men are becoming preachers. They get to wear suits. They get to look more sophisticated. They get to project as if they are more educated or better educated. Okay? So again, it's a generational thing.
Okay, he's talking about image. We have something on the board. Let me look at this. It says, Dr. Rose, I've not listened or text your show in a few months, but I'm always listening to your show. I'm still a single brother, and I do not date black American women at all. I only date black women from Africa and the Caribbean. Black women in America are finished. What does a black American woman stand for anyway? Wow. Woo, that's a pack one right there. I have to say, wow.
That's American women in general, though.
Wow. 681, you're on the line. Did you want to make a comment? 750, if your speaker's on, turn them off. Go ahead and make your statement.
Yes, I want to say something. I am a young male who is still single after all these years for a lot of the reasons that was mentioned. From my experiences and observations, I learned one of the things that men are going to have to do, and the hardest thing for a person to do, is to walk away. You have to be able to walk away realizing that your life went on. What were you doing before you met that female? That should not be the cornerstone of your life. If she want to do something, fine. If she don't, goodbye. You know, because if you don't do that, then you find yourself compromising yourself, and then you go into a downward spiral. So the reason why that these women go for guys like that is that's a lot of that in her also, or the reasons that were already mentioned before. So
okay, so he's bringing out what's already in her. What they have the song, "You Bring Out the Dog in Me."
You know.
Well, and I do agree with that thing about walking away, because just like in my first book, one of the chapters was nothing personal. Again, whatever's going on, don't take it personally. It just is what it is, okay? And you have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and recognize and accept things for what they are.
Right.
Yep.
And just like men, the women that said that they don't need a man, the men should also understand that they may not necessarily need to validate themselves by having a woman.
Well,
That their woman is not in their best interest.
You know what I used to always say, a man is a luxury and not a necessity. And a woman is a luxury and not a necessity. That is not life.
And that's right. That's
Thank
right.
you, Tim, for your call.
All right.
Okay, we're going to take 626. Go ahead, 626.
Hi, Dr. Rose. How you doing? This is Carl.
Hi, Carl. How are you?
Oh, I'm always good. You know,
I
hopefully
needed
all's
you
well
last
with you guys.
week, Carl.
Oh, man.
I guess I always need you. What's your
Oh, it's all
comment,
good. Yeah, I was listening to the conversation, and something that kind of sickened me was I believe there was something on your board where there was a young black male that said that American black women are finished. After the 500-year sojourn and all that our ancestors have been through, to hear something like that turns my stomach. The last time I remember, I came out of the womb of a black woman, one that lived in America, who I hold in high honor. You know, I have that privilege of being on this planet because of her. And we've come to this point to where the really prepubescent, ego-driven, really minuscule, minimizing, it's almost, it's beyond, it's not even elementary school, to the point of our egos are so hurt because of the fact that we don't own and control our destinies, own and control our manufacturing, our productivity, our lives, to the fact that it's like I'm going to give up on somebody. I mean, it's sickening. I always have said this. As someone who, protected and grew up around women, because I was like the only big brother that was around. I got in a lot of fights, even protecting my mom from the so-called police, the cops. One thing that I learned out of all of that is a man is basically is a direct reflection. And when I say a direct reflection is on what he does as for his women and vice versa. In other words, if the women are running amok, it's because the man is not a man. Every other race on this planet, other than the black, I'm talking every other race who has their destinies in their hands, has proven that, okay? If a woman is running amok, it's because the men are not the men to go ahead and make sure that they were the vanguards, the torchbearers, the door openers, the protectors, the nurturers, and everything else of those women.
And let me say, what you're saying is so true. Here's what happened. We are too quick as black folks to be finished. We can go to a black business. This goes across the board. A man get married to a black woman, they divorce. I'm through with black women. You go to a black business. You don't like their service. Now, I didn't do anything with you, but now you through with my business too, and you didn't even patronize me. You through. This is a sick mentality, and you're absolutely right. And when you say when women are run amok, it's because the men are not in position to be the vanguard. That's why I brought this subject up. In my book, people may not like the title, "This Nigga Please." You need to get the book.
Oh, Rosie, I don't think that's what he said.
No, we're on the same
I don't think that's what he said. No, I don't think that's what he said.
Yes, it is, Don.
Let her finish. Let us finish.
Yeah,
Don.
he's saying that we shouldn't say, "I'm finished." He said that turns his stomach. Mine too. We're quick to be finished with each other because we will take stuff off of other people that we will not. So we don't even see it. The media have already darkened your image. So you come into a relationship of thinking certain things about the black man, the black woman. She's a gold digger. The black man, he's lazy. You come into that, So what I'm saying is, but my point is, Carl, when you said about the Vanguard, I'm having this show because I think people need to go back and revisit history, and then we can embrace each other in a different manner. The black man could not be the Vanguard, okay? Yeah. Because he was beaten. If he stood up, you beat him in the front of his wife and his children. When we understand this, then we get up under that black man and push him to a position of strength. Break him down and make him feel weak again. We try to find ways to prop them up. That's what.
And I want to say, and I want to.
I beg to differ, irrespective of charts. Okay, no, I shouldn't say I beg to differ because it is true that we had more back then. We were men back then. Okay, we had no other choice but to be the vanguards. We had no other choice. I have to agree with you on certain aspects. I'm gonna tell you this much, and this is the thing because I've been really hitting a lot of There's a lot of brothers that are hitting a sour nerve with a lot of folks, and I don't care. I'm going to tell you one thing. Black men do not have any business whatsoever talking about anything that the black woman is doing until he addresses the fact that he addresses other men and the marginalization those other men have put him in. Until he addresses that, whether it's the Koreans that are running and owning your stores, or kicking you in the streets, as Dr. Amos Wilson used to say, until he addresses the Mexicans that now are owning your entire food industry, until he addresses the fact he gets his own hospital, addresses the fact that his children are running amok, addresses the fact that he goes ahead and is beat down at every turn by whether it's the so-called cops or the George Zimmermans. Until he addresses other men, he has absolutely no business whatsoever addressing his women.
I disagree with that. You know, it's not just the guy who said that he was finished with black women. The flip side of that is so many black women are finished with men.
I don't think so.
It's not a one-way.
Black
Rosie,
women not finished with black men.
Rosie, yes, I'm not saying all, but many black women are finished with black men. That's why so many are turning to lesbianism. It's all over the place. The men cannot deliver.
And that's a big
problem. It also said, Rosie, and in terms of this other thing, we have to remember, so the comment was made until black men do this, do that, and whatever. It also takes two. And the white man has had the advantage of having a family and support that was more intact than us.
But Don,
we used to talk about that all the time, Rosie. I don't know if you remember that.
That's why we have to go back. People don't want me to go back. They tell me I'm always talking about back in the days when we were slaves. We slaves right now. We just don't understand that. Until we go back, and debrief. We need to debrief. Right. We're still scarred. We're still damaged, and our relationships are reflecting of what happened in the lives of our forefathers.
Rose, when I go to the gym,
Caucasian clones. That's a problem.
Right. I go to a gym with all these middle-class white guys, okay? And all you see them doing is playing golf, going to ball games, teaching their sons how to play ball, that kind of thing. That's what they have working for them that we don't have working for us. They really do have. I'm not saying this across the board as being real, but many of them are married, have been married, educating their kids, whatever they have to go through. They're staying together, sticking it out. They do have the nice little ranch house. And there are a lot of things that they have that we don't have, period.
Well,
can I tell you something?
Go ahead, Carl.
Brother Don,
somebody
I don't care what they have, okay? I don't care what they do, except for what I can take, whether it's resource, whether it's anything that I can control and take and bring back to my race. I don't care about what they have. I don't care about, what they think, what their lives are, because they know they don't care about me except for what they take from black folk, what they marginalize from black folk, what they've stolen, what they've hurt from black folk. The only thing that matters to me is what I can go ahead and compete as a man and take from them to bring back to us.
I agree with you 1,000%. And I agree with you. That's the same page I'm on. But I'm saying holistically, black men are not there. There's some of us who are, but typically that's not the case.
But unless we have these kind of conversations, we want to live under a tree, under an illusion that everything is okay. I was on the show once, and this young black guy told me, because he was with a Jewish woman, that I was in the past because racism was dead. I mean, that's how ignorant people are, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Until we revisit, I'm serious about that, until we revisit how we got into this mess, until we understand that, we will never be able to come out of it. Well, we don't want to look at it. I don't know why.
To think that he's a second-class citizen and a beta male.
Keith, you're right. If you were reared by a woman who took care of you, if your mother, then it was your grandmother, you know, your Sunday school teacher was a woman. All your life you've been taken care of by a woman. Then it become easy for you to go lay down and allow another woman to take care of you while you lie in her bed, eat her food, and drive her car. Because that's what you did for your mama and your grandmama. And black folks don't want to face that. Until we face that reality, the beat will go on about being taken care of by black people.
I don't care how many I don't care how many billions you earn, because there's billionaires. You know, you got billions and billionaires.
Okay, let me read something on the board. It says, reparation matters. Can black people ever be a whole people within a violent system of white supremacy against them, and without the ability to even defend ourselves? That's from Dr. J.
This poison is going through the white community like a plague.
Well, let me say one thing, because we're coming close to the end. That's one of the reasons, Carl, you all, I really work hard with doing seminars on credit restoration and debt elimination. Now, nobody can do that for us. I'm talking about the thing that we can do for ourselves to elevate ourselves and our relationships. Because a lot of these relationships and some of the things that's taking place out here in the black community because of economic deprivation. Women, you need to cut up those credit cards. You need to get out of debt. Because, number one, you get in debt, and then you want a man to help you pay your bills. And the man is trying to do it because he thinks that makes him a man. We got some economic issues going on that we need to straighten out. And I say to any man out there, if a woman got a credit wallet full of credit cards and all these bills, don't even entertain getting married to her until she straightens that out. Don't even walk into that mess, because when it's not handled, she's going to look at you. You're not a man because you're letting her sink. Well, baby, you were sinking before I met you, so you need to clear it up. Now, you notice women haven't called. They out there mad, they scared, and they mad. Y'all can be mad all day. I could care less, because I have children, I have grandchildren, and I want to see a better day for them. When they find and decide that they want to choose a mate, I want it to be a woman that's not acting like some of these I see today. So I'm not going to stop what I'm saying. So you cannot call, you can get mad, you can send me your little hate mails all you want to. I will not stop talking the way I'm talking, because I'm an elder. I live this life, and I know damn well I'm right.
Ooh, yes. Can I say one thing? Rosie, you just made me, you just gave me a second wind just by that. It's when you're talking about reparations, I've never seen a bully put a Band-Aid on the kid he beat up. Okay? I've never seen that. And the thing about it, just recently, the so-called president decided to give $12 million to Holocaust survivors, and I see it's in an uproar amongst a lot of black folks. And it's understandable. But let me tell you something. You're not going to get it, or as Bobby E. Wright said, blood debts are paid in blood. You're not going to get the reparations until you take it, okay?
Exactly.
The fact that the quote-unquote right now we're just a hashtag. I don't want any of you guys. You're too important to me to be a hashtag. Black Lives Matter, this or whatever. No. When it comes to reparations or the repairing, the only way we're going to do it is repair ourselves by getting militaristic, by getting a little mean, by getting, demanding, by being in control. And I'm talking in particular the brothers, because that's who matters to me right now, because I know once we take our destiny back, and once we start, and not just for so-called freedom or liberation, I'm talking about conquering and destroying those who have destroyed us.
Wow. This has been an incredible show. But have you noticed we haven't had any female callers? That'll never happen. Wonder why. Speak up for the women. They won't even call in to help me out. I'm saying this is not how the women feel. We don't think this way. And they won't say a word. Well, anyway, maybe I'm glad they're listening. And I just want us all to revisit. When you look at, next time you look at a black man and black man, next time you look at a black woman and you start thinking all these ill things about them, I want you to pick up some books. In fact, I wish you would pick up my book called Nigger Please. You may not like the title, but I think this is one of the best books that I have written. And I think you need to look at it. It talks about, a close-up look at blacks in America. Affirmity Affirmative action lured blacks into a sharecropper's mindset. What is the real cause of blacks' problem? Blacks are their own worst enemy at times, and I asked the question, are black churches beneficial or detrimental? You need to pick up this book. It's bold, it's raw, provocative truth called Nigger Please. You all want to have, it is 11 o'clock. Anybody want to have a closing thought? Other than telling them to get my book. Women, I hope y'all heard that. I'm out here on the battlefield by myself. Well, but I still love you. I'm still fighting for you. I'm fighting for you, and I'm fighting for the men. Until we can pull this family thing together, we can't make it. I say that because I look at people now who got divorced years ago, and they figure I can do good all by myself. You wait and you get up to Social Security age when you're trying to live on one check versus two. Y'all hear me? I want y'all to hear me out there. You okay now? You rolling. You balling, okay? You balling. But you wait until you get of Social Security aid and you got one check versus two in that house, and you're going to see. Wish you had listened to some of the stuff that we're talking about today. It's 11 o'clock. Our time is up. I want to thank you, Don Spears. Don will be coming out here soon with his new book, Let Us